Welcome to 1818 Farms. I'm Natasha McCrary, the owner, and today we're going to talk about one of my favorite flowers that we grow at the farm, Gomphrena. And if you'll see, I'm standing in two of our aisles here. These are probably 72-foot rows. We grow probably 250 feet of Gomphrena because it's such a versatile flower, as not only in fresh bouquets, but in dried bouquets. And really, I probably like it even more in dried than in fresh. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about when should I harvest this to dry. Really, you can talk fresh also because we are asked a lot of questions by other growers about Gomphrena drooping or either shedding. And we're going to talk about that today. If you zoom in here, we're going to kind of see this is some of the bundles that we have dried. We grow this season, I think we have 9 different varieties. And you'll be able to kind of see once we talk about the varieties how the colors read a little bit deeper when you dry them if you dry at the correct time. What we're going to do first is talk about when I should cut. And in a video earlier that I did on YouTube, it was how to harvest zinnias. It's sort of that same concept if you really need to do the wiggle test. And I'm going to look at this carmine pink. And this we just kind of deadheaded last week. You have to really stay ahead of Gomphrena. If you ever get behind, it's hard to catch up because it's so prolific. And if you talk about the wiggle test here, do you see how the full plant moves? And let's go maybe down here. The head is wiggling too much. The whole plant should move. So we're showing here. So when you cut, what you're going to do is I always look for a break. I could cut here, but I really want to go a little bit deeper. I'm going to cut right above a leaf set. So I'm going to cut here, and then I'm going to strip the sides off. But really, what's just as important with Gomphrena is I want you to zoom in on the head, how perfect the head looks. It's very uniform. There's no shedding. And you may say, what is shedding? I cut some earlier today to show you what we don't want. We're going to have a lot of what I do not want to see when you're going to dry. This one is beautiful and the head is firm, but we're already starting to see, and I'm going to kind of come over here, the deep shedding. I don't want to see this because this isn't going to make a beautiful dried flower when it has that shedding occur right here. So you want to look, see the difference here? Full head, a shedded head. The other thing you're going to look for is when we're cutting is sometimes you have what I would call a deformed head. Like I noticed one over here. He's pretty firm, but this isn't really something that I want to have in a beautiful dried bouquet. So you kind of look for deformities also. But you've got to be fast because before you know it, like literally this whole aisle we had cut, deadheaded, harvested, and we already have so many in this carmine that are already starting to go what I would call to seed. You just got to say, it's got to be one of those commitments. If you're a flower farmer, every day you need to be harvesting. This is not what we want. Now, we have other uses that we use at our farm. We use this for flower confetti, so it's not a lost cause. We just clip it off and dry it. But really, I'm focusing on these dried bundles. So we're going to go into a few of the other colors and let you see what it would look like. This is the carmine, but in the QIS, well, actually, let's go to this QIS here. This is going to be kind of I call it a pink. A lot of people call it a lavender. This is what we do not want. This has gotten too elongated and we're going into seed. It's the same concept. You don't want the color. The number one mistake that we hear of people who are trying to dry flowers is they don't harvest at peak. For you harvesting anything for dried, it needs to be at absolute peak. This is a no-no. We wouldn't want to keep this in any of our dried. This is what it should actually look like. Very nice. So you can kind of see the difference in the color when you go here. Same color, just this is too mature. You can kind of see the same thing here. This is an Audrey Bicolor rose. It's the same thing. It's gone too far without being cut. We cut about 1,400 of these stems last week. This one just, I think, got missed. It was down low. This, really nice. You can see the wiggle test. This one I cut to show you. Not so great. Can you see the droopiness? This is what you don't want to do. We have a lot of people contact us saying, I put it into bouquets and it droops. This was never even mature enough to begin with. The whole stem should move. So this is also going to be, a no-go for us. Kind of the other colors that we have, which I love, is going to be this peach. It's the same concept here. Too far into seed. This, perfect. Look how vibrant the color is. When it starts going to seed, you're already losing the color. It's losing some orange and reading more peach. You don't want that because you want to get as vibrant as you can. This is something that's probably been dried for about probably 8 weeks. Color is very nice. Another color that I think is extremely interesting is going to be the white. I think it's probably most my favorite. This is a really nice piece here. This is a no-go, another no-go. Remember me telling you this was not firm enough. This one was perfect. Look how beautiful the heads are. What I love about the white, especially if you're going to be doing wreath work or selling in straight bundles, is it reads kind of a off-white peach, pink, pale pink blush, and that's kind of what you're gonna how it's gonna change. Even if you dry harvest at peak, it's still gonna read a little bit to the off-white winter. I guess you could call that a winter white, really. But I think it's beautiful if you're doing some type of design work with that. Lastly, we're going to have our purple, which is really vibrant. It dries a lot deeper. This is another example of not at peak. It's too far gone. We've started to see here some almost, I wouldn't want to include this one. We're starting to have the discoloration. I might cut this one off and just have these two stems. But this one's going to be really nice. And you have a little bit of movement. You can tell it's still, even though this is a baby, it still looks really nice here. So just my main advice for you is going to be, one, never let the Gomphrena get ahead of you, because if you do, it's so hard to catch up. It's got to be in your daily routine, just like you're weeding. If you're harvesting for fresh cuts, you have to have this as just your daily task. A lot of people ask, how do we bundle? We bundle in straight bunches of 30. And what we do is we bundle in 30. I'm going to kind of just grab, this is a little bit more than 30, but I want you to see how we bundle so they don't fall. We're going to say this is around 30. We always want it to be looking pretty as far as how it's going to dry. So let's say this is 30. We're going to cut the tips even. And then we never hang to dry with twine. A lot of people do that, but it's not a good idea, because you're going to have, as it dries, there's going to be shrinkage of the stems and you're going to have things drop. We just do the quick rubber band trick. So we go at one stem, we go around and around and around, come back up another single stem. Here's how we bundle, and then we just run a clothespin, like the old school clothespin, through here, and we hang upside down. That way you're not going to have dropping and you're not going to have anything ruin. For us, and we'll probably hit this in another YouTube video, we're going to talk about our drying room later. It takes us about 5 to 7 days to dry in the summer months here, and we're in zone 7A, northern Alabama. It's easily 100 degrees, 95 to 100 degrees. We are in a totally dark room, no windows, and we run a dehumidifier. We have to have that to pull the humidity out. And like I said, we're going to hang it to dry even, I wouldn't say 5 to 7 days at the most. And you're going to automatically, they'll be ready to pull down. You can store them. What I recommend is storing them in bins. Like we have big black bins, and we label out what colors we have, how many bundles we have, so you kind of know what you're going to be working with for that winter and then the fall. I think that's all for today on Gomphrena. If you have any questions, please just leave us a message. I'll try to get back to you. And if you want to see more of our videos, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's 1818 Farms, and we're trying to offer weekly videos. May not always be flowers. We probably have about another month in this flower season, and we'll be moving into cool weather planning. But we'll be showing our bath and lifestyle products, the chickens, the sheep, farm life, and always a lot of fun. So we hope you'll join us.